Hey guys, how's it going? I just finished work today. Had a nice long 10-hour shift, 10.5 hours. And despite being quite physically tired, despite having about three, maybe 4 hours of sleep last night, I just could not for the life of me fall asleep. And despite being really grumpy going into work this morning, I actually had a fantastic day. I am physically tired right now, but emotionally and spiritually, I feel fantastic. And I think because at some point early in the morning, when I had a couple of my first guests come into work this morning, I chose instead of being default human mode, just being kind of off and being kind of lackadaisical, I chose to be joyful and I chose to put forth my best attitude I could have giving. Um, I made the conscious choice to try to make every single interaction somewhat meaningful, and genuinely ask how people are doing and do my best to have some level of conversation with my guests today or do just the small things and stuff. And I find so much. It's so easy to fall into that level of just like mundane human zombie mode and not have really meaningful interactions with others or even, be passively, not necessarily mean, but passively off with people. So it seems almost like, oh, what's their problem? Or just, you know, very, very muted. And not being true as to our true selves. And yet I had multiple tables today, multiple guests tell me, "You're so personable, you're so kind." Oh wow, like my restaurant's closing, and they're like, "Oh, I really hope your new job goes really well. Like I'll come visit you there," that kind of stuff. And I found that the more I did this, the more like happiness I got back from people. It created a feedback loop of wanting to continue bringing that forth. And I found, despite being quite physically tired, I worked 10.5 hours. I didn't get any breaks. I barely had time to sit down and eat myself. The restaurant was pretty much well steady all day, and I was cleaning well into the time I left, and I had no time to really stop and like process my thoughts or relax and sit back. I still feel spiritually and emotionally invigorated right now. I still feel very satisfied with my day at work. And we talk so much the phrase "be the change you want to see in the world," and there's not really a lot of thought. There's not like, oh, how do I put that into play? Like, how do I do that? What does that mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it starts, guys. The easiest thing you can do for yourselves is to be kind and giving towards others. Every single interaction you make during the day can be meaningful to that person. You can make someone's day entirely better just by asking them how they're doing, just by being warm, being kind. You can be happy to someone in line with you at Tim Hortons. You can make a joke with them and you can give someone a smile. You can do this to your customers at work. You can give this to a coworker. It's the most minimal effort. And while it seems like it might be harder to be happy, I find it's actually, once you get into the mode of that attitude of giving, of that attitude of kindness, of that attitude of servitude and just being loving to others, it just keeps giving back. So it doesn't end up being more tiring. It ends up being more entirely invigorating. And I just think, maybe it's coming at me because it's part of the season. It's close to Christmas. Maybe people are feeling that holiday cheer. Maybe it's just dawning on me more now. But I find my best days both at work and just, in my day to day life are those when I try to turn myself on and put forth the effort and switch into kindness human mode, switch into loving human mode and try to give back to others and stuff. Because honestly, it's not hard. And you'll find that it gives so much more back, guys. I hope that this message hits you because it's very close to my heart and something I very believe in very deeply. I love you guys very much. Thank you for taking the time to watch this. This is a much longer video and probably the first one I'm ever posting on YouTube, but hopefully many more, guys. Thank you so much. Cheers.